Hi, I'm Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of today's newsletter is going to be I was so indifferent, I didn't even notice seeing my lying, cheating ex. So, this is an interesting video. I've talked about this in the past. When your belief is so strong about something, even if it's not true, what it ends up doing is creating what's called a scotoma, where your eyes see it but your brain doesn't recognize and won't acknowledge it. I think everybody's had this experience. You're looking for something, you're like, hey, where's the mustard? Oh, it's in the top shelf on the right. And you're like, we don't have any mustard. There's no way. And then you open it and you look, you're like, I told you there's no mustard. And then your significant other comes over and just grabs it. It's right there. And it's like, what is this? We've all had a similar experience like that. But you're so convinced that you don't have something or you're out of it or it's not there. You believe it so fully, your brain just won't even acknowledge it's there, even though your eyes actually do see it. So in this particular case, this guy he obviously, I think he dated this girl for 4 months, if I'm not mistaken. And he caught her lying and cheating. And to his credit, they had a trip planned, so he went on the trip. They had fun on the trip, but when they got back, that was the end, and he rode off into the sunset. And so in his mind, he's not giving her another chance. She's done, and she got to experience the fact that she lost somebody that, in other words, she lost a good dude. Because most of the time, guys will just put up with this shit. They'll put up with the lying and the cheating and think they can work with it, or if they just apply my book enough and they sleep with one eye open enough, like with the free newsletter today was or yesterday I should say, or I'm sorry, the members area one from yesterday was a guy that did exactly that. He'd been with his lying, cheating wife for almost 20 years, and she was living with another guy when they started dating and hooking up. But he thought, hey, I'm going to be different because I'm such a good dude. She'd never do that to me. And of course she did it to him. But now he's got 2 kids. They've been together 20 years. He's like, things are really good in their marriage. They have sex all the time. But he still doesn't trust her as far as he can throw her. Imagine being in that situation. So this is a situation here where this guy did not get that far down the road. And obviously me going through emails like that and explaining how low character people operate enabled him to dip out. And he moved on and focused solely on his outcome. That I guess they saw each other in public. He had long since deleted her number, wasn't even thinking about her. He's dating a girl that really knocks his socks off, and things are going really well with her. And I guess they saw each other, and they even made eye contact, and he just didn't even recognize her. His brain just didn't even acknowledge it. Probably because of all the pain that she had caused him in the past. He literally moved on. And she later texted him, and obviously he didn't recognize the text because he didn't save it in his number in his phone. But it just shows you the power of moving on and letting go of the past and riding off into the sunset. And it's very satisfying because he's totally over it and he's in a much better situation with a much better girl. And she recognizes that she screwed up and she lost a good dude. And this really is the only way women like this are going to change. But unfortunately, most guys they're going to meet will put up with it. They'll think, oh, I'll be different. I'm such a good dude, she'd never do that to me. Which is obviously delusional. But as Ayn Rand said, you can ignore reality, but you can't ignore the consequences of ignoring reality. So he says, good morning, Coach. I hope you're doing well. I just thought I'd follow up with a funny life event that happened, which aligns with your teachings on indifference. In a previous email, you did a video titled, If She's Always Busy and Scheduling Dates is Difficult, She Has Low Interest. I mentioned paying the price with previous relationships. After what happened to me yesterday, I would love to share. By paying the price, I was cheated on by a girl I was seeing last year. We had been dating for 4 months, and after a month or so, she brought up being exclusive. 4 months in, and she's already cheating on you. That's just crazy. What a ratchet. At that point, I was happy to take that step because no big glaring red flags had emerged. She was fully present, and we got on really well. Well, character is destiny, and people can hide who they are for about the first 90 days of the relationship. So the first 90 days, everything seemed good, but in month 4, That's when he realized she was boning somebody else. We spent a lot of time together, dating once a week with sleepovers involved. We also booked 2 holidays for the summer of 2025, one to Tunisia and the other one to Turin. However, toward the end of our time together, she went traveling to South America for 2 weeks, and I caught her cheating in Brazil. She had forgotten she had shared her location with me at the start of her trip in Argentina, which she had done voluntarily for safety reasons. The morning I caught her, she had just texted me a few hours earlier saying she missed me and that she and her friend were heading back to the hostel to sleep as they packed up from Sao Paulo and were heading to Rio. I told her I hoped she had a good time. Now keep in mind, she's just got done screwing another guy, and then she texts her boyfriend and goes, I really miss you. However, something didn't feel right in that moment. It felt like an overcompensation since she hadn't done that on the trip so far. So I checked the location and she had spent the night in some random place, and then I knew what happened. I waited until the next day and she slipped up by sending me a picture of her packing up her hostel room with clothes everywhere. I rechecked the location. It was different from where she had stayed the night before, and I confronted her. She tried to lie, but eventually gave up because the game was up. She was busted. He had her location. So she tried to claim she was in the hostel, but in reality, she was at Chad Thundercock's house getting her pelvis beat up. Again, this is character. I mean, she asked him to be exclusive. Remember, I say this a lot. It's even in the book. You could be the best boyfriend in the world, and if you're with a woman who's a low-character person, who's a liar and a cheater, they're going to cheat on there, and there's nothing you can do about it. And that's why it's best to let the women that you're dating think that you trust them implicitly while you still vet for character to see if there's inconsistencies in their story, which this guy clearly did, and so that's how he busted her. She thought she had him bamboozled, and he was naive, and he fucking caught her. I stayed centered, walked away from the relationship that very moment, but we still went to Tunisia together. I know it sounds a bit wild given the circumstances, but I work a lot and I work hard and I needed the break. I wasn't going to let that ruin my experience. We went and we had a good time. I kept my emotional distance, avoided getting involved in conversations about what happened, enjoyed the beach, building sandcastles, and having a whale of a time, pun intended. While she had a good time for the most part, I'd catch her tearing up and starting to cry in random moments. It was difficult to see live, but I didn't let it unnerve me. After that trip, we parted ways and I rode off into the sunset in a new direction, knowing that that situation nor that person was for me. It takes a lot of balls to do that. She showed she belonged to the streets, and back to the streets she was delivered. I deleted the number, pictures, and removed her from social media. Although I'd catch her viewing my social media pages a couple of times. Now on to the update. I was traveling home from a weekend with the girl I'd been dating for the past month or so, and I'm happy to report that it's going really well, but I'm taking my time, vetting carefully, and enjoying the experience. I was at a station in London called Whitechapel, where the girl in question worked close by. I was minding my business, AirPods in, getting ready to get on the train. I was on my way to spend time with my loving grandparents, sisters, and cousin, who also made the trip to the area for a family dinner. Hours pass by and I get back to my place, having not been home in a few days, and a text comes through from an unsaved number. "Did you see me?" it read. I started looking around the room thinking, am I in a horror movie? Is someone about to pop out of the wardrobe closet? I responded, "Who is this?" To which she replied, "It's probably for the best that I don't know who it is. And trust me, you don't want to know. I thought you would have recognized me, but I don't think you did, so it's all good." He wasn't thinking about her. Out of sight, out of mind. He rode off into the sunset, and he's got a much better woman that he's been getting underneath and on top of. In the end, I saved the number. Come on, man. Why? Why would you save the number? Checked WhatsApp for the profile picture, and it was her. She then said, "Your face didn't flinch when we locked eyes, and I don't remember you being such a good actor. And I was expecting some sort of repulsion, but indifference was not on my bingo card." He didn't even notice her. Out of sight, out of mind. He literally had moved on. It's called a scotoma. After he got betrayed that badly, because she lied about it, got caught, he's like, fuck that bitch. He threw her ass back to the streets. So when he saw the street person, he didn't even notice her. God's truth, coach, I didn't see her. She was invisible to me, but I was like a ghost from her past haunting her. I found it amusing that she sat stewing on the fact I didn't for hours before sending me a text. I remain respectful, wished her well, liked the last message, and I'm continuing to ride off into sunset. I won't be looking back or having any further conversation. But why'd you save the number, dude? I wouldn't have saved the number. I would have... Because that tells me on some level, you want to know if she reaches out in the future, if it's her. It would be more powerful if she does reach out in the future, like, who's this? Because then twice she's going to know you didn't even save her number. She said when she lost me that I was the best man she'd ever met and that she'd regret losing me for the rest of her life. It's like, well, karma's a bitch. You're a liar and a cheater and a hoe. You're going to go on down the road for good. Yesterday was an unintentional, bitter reminder for her. For me, a reminder of how much I've grown. I also see this encounter as a test from the universe. Well, you did save her number, so there's that. So I don't know that deep down you completely moved on. Just because, again, you saved her number. And you guys can post your comments in the comments section telling him what you think about that. The girl I'm currently dating has been fantastic. She knocks my socks off, and we have a great time together. Great dates, great cooking, great sex, a similar mindset on life and relationships, and she has a cute little dog who loves my attention. Like mother, like daughter. As always, your work has been helpful. I've read the book a couple of more times since the last email and got the audiobook for Christmas. I'll continue learning and applying your teachings. Well, isn't that a cool story? Like I said, the only thing I don't like, the only critique is that he saved her number. Because if he truly was riding off into the sunset, he would have never done that. So on some level, he's like, well, if she's going to reach out, I'd like to at least know that it was her in the future. But I wouldn't do that. But you do you, boo-boo. It's your life. So if you got a question or a challenge and you'd like to get my help, go to understandingrelationships.com. Click the coaching tab at the top of your screen on any page of my website and book a coaching session with yours truly. If you haven't already signed up for our exclusive premium members-only content, in the video description of this video, there are links to join on YouTube, or you can join on Spotify or our website, understandingrelationships.com. Just click the plans tab when you get there. You can do a 7-day free trial to check out all the great content you get. And if you choose an annual plan, you can get a 25% discount at the end of the 7-day free trial. So go to understandingrelationships.com, click the plans tab, sign up for a premium membership trial today. And until next time, I will talk to you soon.